Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome back to Dom's happy place, which is my bed. I don't know why I film from here. I just find it comfortable. The lighting's good, and I feel like when you're watching these videos, you feel very much so calm and chill, and I would just want you to feel like you're in my environment right now. So today I'm going to talk about 10 symptoms that women ignore that are actually hormonal, because most women think that these are normal, but in reality, they are actually signs of hormonal imbalances. So if you're one of these people that have been told, yes, your lab results are normal, there is nothing wrong with you, and you've got all the symptoms, this video is definitely for you, because I see these symptoms in every single woman, which is crazy to think. So the biggest one is hair loss. I've struggled with hair loss myself severely in the past because of my thyroid, because of iron levels, and I see women complaining about this a lot. And hair loss is really important to us because as females, we like to have luscious hair. And if you've got bald patches or it's thinning, it definitely affects your confidence, and that's me speaking from experience as well. So if your hair is falling out or thinning more than usual, because yes, hair naturally falls out and that is normal, but if it's in bigger amounts, that is not normal. So hair loss can be linked to thyroid, nutrient deficiencies like iron, ferritin. It can also be from high stress. So there are a few factors that can affect it, okay? And it could be a combination of all, or it can just be the one. The second symptom is anxiety. So if you're feeling constantly on edge, anxious, you're overthinking, you get that sick feeling, or you lose your appetite even from anxiety, depending on who you are, then this is another symptom that is not normal. And when it comes to anxiety, it can be linked to many things. Again, thyroid, 110%. I see a lot of women with thyroid problems saying they get put on antidepressants when actually they don't need it. The thyroid just needs regulating. It can be that your cortisol is out of whack, whether that's high or low, it's just imbalanced. It can be blood sugar dysregulation, and as well things like SIBO, which is a gut problem. Okay, SIBO is often linked to depression and anxiety as well, and a lot of women who have SIBO have that as one of the symptoms, and it's very much so overlooked. Number 3 is low libido. So if your sex drive is disappearing, it's not just because life is busy. There are potential problems that would need investigated. So hormones like testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, they will all have an effect on your libido. So getting your hormones checked is really, really important, but also stress. People don't think that stress affects libido, but it really, really does. So if your hormones are out of balance, yes, it can affect your hair loss, it can affect your anxiety, and it can affect your libido as well. Number 4 is fatigue. And I feel like a lot of us experience tiredness every now and again. That is fine, but extreme levels of fatigue where you feel like you're dragging your legs every single day, you can't get out of bed, you function on coffee, energy drinks, that is not normal. And this is one of the biggest signs that your hormones and your nervous system are off. And when I say hormones, I don't just mean your sex hormones. It can be your cortisol hormone, it can be your thyroid hormone, it can be everything else that's related to hormone health, okay? And nervous system as well is one that I talk about, because if your nervous system is out of whack, it's going to be very dysregulated, and your circadian rhythm will be out. Your cortisol will more than likely be, it can be high in the morning, it can be low in the morning, and that's going to have an effect on your fatigue as well. Brain fog is another one, okay? So if you're struggling to remember simple tasks, if you are pausing mid-sentence, which I do quite a lot, I still get brain fog every now and again. And if you just feel like very slow and foggy, like you're running through a cloud of smoke, then let's look into brain fog, because this is often linked to, yes, one, your thyroid, blood sugar, but also inflammation and mycotoxins. Now, inflammation is a big one, and inflammation comes from somewhere. So whether it's stress driving it, whether it's autoimmunity or mycotoxins driving it, inflammation within the body will also mean inflammation within the brain. Your brain is a muscle. So when you are inflamed, obviously you're going to feel it all in your body, your arms, your face, but also your brain is going to start being inflamed, and that is then going to have an effect on brain fog and how sharp you are able to think. Now let's talk about PMS, because people seem to think PMS is normal, and some levels of it are normal, especially when we go through, our cycle changes. Yes, that is fine, but PMS that constantly gets worse and worse and worse and you can't function is not normal. If you are bedbound coming up to your period, that is not normal. So things like painful periods, irritability, severe mood swings, really, really bad cramps to the point where you can't move, are all a red flag. And these are not things that you should just put up with because you're a woman, okay? This will more than likely mean that your hormones are out of balance. Things like estrogen will be higher, meaning that you're estrogen dominant, and your symptoms will become worse. And on to the next, bloating, which I feel like most of the population these days is bloated. And I'm not talking just about feeling full, because there's a difference between feeling full from food and feeling bloated. Bloating is uncomfortable, it's painful. Feeling full, you're just full from food and your stomach is full, which is natural to happen after you've had a meal, right? Because you've just filled your stomach up. So bloating is very, very different in that sense. And if you are waking up bloated, if you are bloated from water, if you are bloated from eating healthy foods, then something is not right. And a lot of the time, yes, this can be gut linked. So whether there is, a bit of dysbiosis, so an imbalance of the good and bad bacteria, whether you have intestinal permeability, which is a leaky gut, whether you have SIBO, whatever it is, it could potentially be gut. But what a lot of women don't realize is that lack of sleep, high stress, all affect bloating. Take control of those two first before diving into your gut. And by sleep, I mean, getting at least 7 hours a night, stress being low. If you think, I'm not a stressed person, but there are external things that you're doing like under eating, overtraining, these are putting stress onto your body as well. And the next thing is weight not shifting, which I feel like a lot of women say, I've tried everything and nothing's working, but I'm not going to talk about that today because that's a whole separate video. But if your weight is not shifting, despite, eating in a calorie deficit, and I'm not talking 1,000 calories because that's going to do the opposite thing, in a small calorie deficit, if you are moving, if you are eating well and you are not seeing progress, that more than likely means there is some sort of hormonal imbalance, whether that is with your hormones, whether that is with your blood sugars, whether that is with your thyroid, whatever it is, the more than likely it is potentially something there that is driving it. And I always say, if you can't lose weight the natural way, then you need to look into something else first, because your body will not lose weight if it feels like it's in a fight or flight state. You need to be in a parasympathetic state, so which is your rest and digest, for your body to be able to lose weight. So that's one thing that you really need to take away from today. Now, if you struggle with poor sleep, again, this is a symptom that I see a lot of women talking about, and you can get poor sleep when you're going through perimenopause, of course, because your hormones are changing. But if you are waking up between 2 to 4 a.m, it is more than likely cortisol related or blood sugar related. And again, sleep is very important for optimal results, for optimal hormones. But how do we get good sleep when our hormones are preventing us from sleeping? This is something that a lot of women struggle with as well. So getting that under control will help massively, and it's like a vicious cycle. So making sure that your cortisol level and your blood sugar is stable will help with the sleep side of things and waking up randomly during the night. And again, severe and heavy mood swings where you just don't feel like yourself. This is very much so hormonal. And I know I keep going on about it, but hormones control your body. They control everything. So if you feel like a moody little bitch and you're irritable, coming up to your cycle, that's normal. But when it's severe and it's random times of the day, then there more than likely is some sort of imbalance that is causing this to happen. So don't think that you're just miserable. There is more than likely underlying causes to this. Now, what the big realization here is that women are told that all these symptoms are normal when they are not. And they get given quick fixes like the contraceptive pill, for example, or medication, and just say, get on with it. These things are not addressing the root cause, and they are not fixing what is going on. They are just band-aiding the problem. So all these women are just getting on with the struggle, and they don't actually understand their bodies and how they work. And I see it time and time again. Clients come to me, I'm eating well, I'm moving, I'm not losing weight, I've had my bloods done and nothing is wrong with me. First of all, you haven't had a full set of bloods done, because your GP, the NHS, wherever you are based in the UK, US, wherever, your doctor doesn't do a full panel unless you request it or pay private. That's the first thing. They will test your full blood count, maybe your TSH if you're lucky. They don't really look into everything else, and then they tell you you're fine. You cannot know you are fine without physically having every single hormone tested. So that's my first thing. The second thing is you need to support the basics. Sleep, stress, blood sugar. It's a non-negotiable. People think like, if I'm stressed, it'll be fine. No, it isn't. Stress has a huge impact on bloating, and so does sleep. I actually did a little study on myself, and I slept under 7 hours. So I did 5-6 hours for a week straight. I was horrible. I felt awful. I couldn't function. I was starving. I was bloated. I was inflamed. I was weak in the gym and it just wasn't the one. So that is just to show people that sleep is very, very vital. So just to wrap things up, if you're experiencing any of these symptoms, your body is trying to tell you something. Do not ignore it. Make sure you take control of your health before things start to go wrong. And if you have any questions for me, comment them below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow me on social media for more content like this.